Meanwhile, the French president is planning a reset. Macron will travel to Africa this week. Yesterday, he tried to set the tone for his visit. Macron said France will cut back on its troops in Africa, and French military bases in the continent will see a change.
Au fond, la logique, c'est que notre modèle ne doit
Basically, the logic is that our model must no longer be that of military bases as they exist today. In the future, our presence will be in bases, schools and academies that will be co-managed. They will be staffed by French personnel who will remain, albeit at lower levels, and by African personnel. And they will also be able to welcome other partners if our African partners so wish, and on their terms.
Partenaires africains le souhaitent et à leurs conditions d'autres partenaires.
Macron is making a fresh outreach. He wants France to demonstrate what he calls profound humility, but it's easier said than done. As president, Macron will be visiting Africa for the 18th time. He plans to make 4 stops: Angola, Gabon, Republic of Congo, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The French president has promised, or had promised, a partnership of equals to Africa. But so far, he's not been able to deliver it. You see, just like the UK, France had a vast colonial empire. Nearly half of the African nations were under French influence and control. They were either colonies or protectorates. These are the former French colonies. Post-independence, France maintained some influence on them, but it's now declining. In recent years, France has been at the receiving end. It has faced sharp criticism. The anti-colonial sentiment has always been there, but recent events accelerated the trend. Consider what happened in Mali in April last year. The French military had to leave the country. What were the French forces doing there? They were fighting Islamist militants. The operation began in the year 2013. It went on for 8 years and it ended in a rather humiliating fashion for France. The French forces became deeply unpopular. On their watch, the number of terror attacks increased steadily and more people joined militant groups. Basically, France could not solve the problem. It may have only made it worse. So it left. Guess who replaced the French soldiers? The Wagner group from Russia. They have been tasked with fighting the militants now. And Mali is just one example. Then we have Senegal. In 2021, protests broke out in Senegal. Young people took to the streets. They smashed windows of French gas stations and set fire to French supermarkets. Why were the protesters angry? Because they believed that their president was a puppet of Macron. In the same year, a French convoy was blocked in Niger. 2 people were killed in the unrest. Last year, there was a coup in Burkina Faso. The anti-France sentiment was visible there too. Protesters tore up French flags. For President Macron, strong ties with Africa are a priority, but his Africa policy has not really worked. In fact, it has proven to be counterproductive. So perhaps for the last time, he's attempting another reset. He's taking a different approach this time. He wants to cut back on the military presence and build on the cultural ties.
Pour éviter la répétition de l'histoire, il existe une autre voie.
To avoid repeating history, there is another path, the one we've been pursuing for the past 6 years. Another path that consists in not reducing Africa to a field of competition or profits, and in considering African countries as partners with whom we have shared interests and responsibilities. We need to build a new balanced, mutual and responsible relationship.
Équilibré, réciproque et responsable.
A reasonable relationship, that's what Macron is promising, but can he really deliver it? The world is watching his next move.